And we are live. Coming to you live from the great state of Wisconsin is the Overdue Sports Team. I'm your host, Will Massa. To my right is Jake Sawinski on the telephone today. His computer is no more.
Yeah, Tim Apple finally won the war. Sorry, I'm very distracted by like the weird different camera angle because I'm like looking, the phone is sideways, but the camera's over here, and I feel like I'm leaning a little weird. That's a little better, I guess. I have to do a better job of actually looking at the camera. But new Mac's coming in Sunday, so we'll be back in commission next video. So
It was a long for people who don't know. Jake has been a tough contributor for this because his computer simply does not work, and so the way that we have to like get around all of that, and it's kind of a miracle that we got this far, to be honest with you.
Yeah, just some background on this computer. I got this as a graduation gift in 2015. It's a mid 2012 Mac, mid 2012 model, and I got about 5 good years out of it. And it has been an electronic paperweight ever since, like 2020. I did the old mistake of, oh, you need to clean your computer. And I downloaded one of those like clean my Mac things. Those are fucking bullshit. Paid like $20. It worked for like 3 months, and then now it's useless. Like if I didn't use it every day, it would take a little bit to like boot back up, but then it would be useful for a little bit. And then I went through all this bullshit, like trying to like get the new Mac OS software or Mac,
iOS
the
thing.
operating system.
Yeah.
Yeah, like trying to get a newer one on there so it's like supported. And that worked for a little bit, but now it's like the RAM is so bad. Like I have 4 gigs of RAM. It's like it's useless. So it's time to retire this computer after 12 years, and it will be an actual paperweight once I get everything switched over. But this is the last time. Well, we're doing 2 videos, so this will be the last 2 times.
The last set.
Yeah.
It's a good day though. That means that everything will be a lot smoother. We don't have to battle Tim Apple every single week.
Well, let's not. That guy is a snake in the grass.
Jake typically texts me his blogs, and I take them from my phone and I use my phone to import them into Google Drive because he can only use Pages on his phone. And so it's been a mess. It's been a ridiculous process for the last couple of months. But
I will say though,
returning the page.
Pages is actually pretty nice. Like for the phone, like I can write anywhere. Like I walk a lot, so like I'll just go on a walk and type, which is convenient for me, but not for anyone else. So it's time
The guy
that
who's posting them.
yeah, exactly. I've always just done the writing. So for me, it's like, oh, that's not so bad. It's like, well, there's somebody else who's being impacted by my stubbornness to buy a new computer. But that ended yesterday. It is on the way. It'll be here Sunday. So I'm pretty fired up for that.
It's gonna be a brand new day. This is the weekly recap episode, so we're kind of mixing up the formatting. We've been brainstorming on how to condense all of these things because they all kind of get crossed over, and we do a good job of rambling on.
I'm great at
which
that.
is still going to happen. I mean, it's still going to happen. So don't go anywhere. We're still going to ramble, but it's going to be very related to our bets and not just sports things. So kicking off in the MLB, I'm on a pretty good week so far. I've actually had a very solid like month and a half. Like nothing has been above 10 units in a week, and nothing has been below like -3 units. Like I've been very steady, like winning a couple. Like my big week was like 8, and my worst week was like even. But I've been very, very even keeled. Like it seems like if I have a bad day, the next day I do the opposite. Like if I go 0-2, the next day I go 2-0 or 2-1, and I just like crawl back. And then the weekends I've been really, really good. That's kind of what I live for. I try to stay around 500 until I can get into Friday, and then I've been really good on the weekends.
Yeah, I think if you guys read the good, bad, ugly column I put out every week or two, I've kind of had the same experience, or kind of been betting the same way you have. It's been pretty steady. I can feel baseball is starting to slip. Like I'm getting a little frustrated because like I feel like I'm still making really good looks, and just like all the variance is kind of coming in. Like sometimes good bets you make lose, and it just seems like those are starting to stack up, and I'm getting a little frustrated. But it's not bad enough to where like I need to stop yet. I've got 3 weeks until that happens, or I need to scale it way back. But yeah, it's just kind of steady. Like the last 5 weeks, I paid the guy once, and it was a unit, and it wasn't even a unit from the week. It was a future that rolled off the books. So, like, I've been on a pretty nice 5-6 week stretch here, and I just know it's gonna come to an end. Like, I'm down a few units this week. This week was a little lighter, but baseball this week has been very, very irritating for me. But same, I'm pretty much in the same boat.
Yeah, my big moneymaker in baseball so far is totals. And I said this preseason, like I have a really good feel for totals, but I don't bet them as often as you would think. Knowing that information, you would think I would look for totals. I'm really picky about them, but I hit them at a really like I'm 12-4 on totals this year. I hit them at a really high rate, and I have a good feel for them. But very rarely do I find one that I like. So like it might only be like 2 totals a week, but if there's a week where there's a lot of totals that I like, I typically have a good week. The sides are what have been killing me, especially this week. I took the Oakland A's in the first 5 against the Rangers, and it's one of those ones where the Rangers won the full game, but they were down 2-0 after 5.
I remember.
Kind of an over. It's one of those ones where like Oakland's bullpen had been really good to that point. This is about a week and a half ago, and Oakland's bullpen is really good. And so I was kind of trying to avoid that because they were really fresh, and the Rangers bullpen is kind of stinky. So I was like, okay, see if I can get a cheap one. And they got blanked by Alex Wood. So that made me feel really, really smart because Alex Wood is not particularly good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was
I bet
a
that
frustrating one.
I remember that game. Yeah. For me, like I've kind of had, I don't know, it's like hard for me to tell sometimes because like last year, it's like you're saying like sides versus totals. Like for me, I couldn't be any better at totals compared to last year. Like I could hit 0 bets and it would be better than what I was in totals last year. Like I didn't hit a total for like 3 months in the summer. It was insane. But I've been doing a lot more overs, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but like you look at splits, you don't use them like I do, but like you gander at them. It is hard to find like an over that's been super contrarian the last week or
100%.
two. It's been a lot of unders, and I'm not sure why that is. Like I like unders. They're fun because like it's a little more stressful, like, oh, there's a runner on first in the first inning and you're getting irritated already because you have under 7. But it's kind of fun sometimes. But like it seems like the under's the right play in every single game, and it's not very fun. So I've been trying to do like picking good unders, and then like when I do overs, I'm trying to like situationally do it instead of just being split spaced with it because what's a good example? So, like tonight, I think Tarek Skubal and I don't know who's pitching for whoever. They're playing the D-backs. I think it's like Kyle Harrison, but like that might be a good over if it's like over 8 and Skubal's at like a 2 ERA and Harrison's at like a 4 or 5 and it's like totals like 8.5. Like that might be a good look for an over. I've been trying to situationally do the totals a little more. Sides, you just kind of gotta pick your spot. Like for me, the whole thing is it worth doing? And a lot of times it's not, but I do it anyways. And you got to just pick some of those gross ones. Like, I mean, I'd rather, if I'm hitting 2 out of 5, like if I'm hitting at 40%, it's got to be a dog. Otherwise, you're going to lose money. You know what I mean? So, or it's got to be steep one.
It's funny you say that about totals. That's actually what I look for in splits on totals. I look for the contrarian side. And you're right. Like when I look at splits, like every over is super public. And the overs that I've been taking have mostly been situational. Like the other night I was on the Rays and Red Sox over.
I don't want to
3 nights ago. Stupid.
That was so stupid. Both of them. I did it twice.
Yeah, you did it the night before. So the night before it didn't hit. and it probably
Yeah.
should have. And
I
so the
ran it
next day I
back.
took
It
it. Yeah.
definitely
So I
should
did.
have scored 6
Yeah.
runs in the first inning.
I did the same thing. I ran it back. Well, I didn't run it back, but I took it the next day because I saw that. And then they go into extras and they just can't push it across. I was happy they pushed, but it was the same thing. Like they scored all
I
the runs
didn't. I
early.
lost. I was late. That was my
Oh,
fault.
you had 8.5,
I was
or do
no,
you have
I had
9.5?
9.5. Yeah,
I had
that was my
9.
fault. But like the look was still right, but
Yeah.
it was annoying. But whatever. But yeah, like it's just you'd expect favorites and overs to be the public side most of the time. That's why like being a contrarian bettor always gets, oh, this guy only bets underdogs. It's like that's not true at all. I bet favorites all the time. It's most of the time a public plays a favorite. So like automatically you're gonna be under and dog biased. Like it's just kind of how it is. Like if everybody bet underdogs, it would be the opposite. It's just going against the groove. But you at least understand what I'm saying, right? It's like everything is like 90% of the bets,
Yes.
85%.
Always the over is super, super public. The overs have always just been situational. And I bet the Red Sox money line in that first game too. That was so annoying.
I'm trying to.
It was 3-3 after the first, and then they got blanked.
Sometimes I like fading one of your bets. When you do two, like I faded you on the Angels. I bet the Cardinals.
The Angels.
On Monday night. The Angels were up 5-0 and they lost 10-5.
Oh, I didn't take that. That wasn't me. That was our other buddy.
Your buddy
he was on that. Yeah.
I find one of yours like sometimes it's like, okay, one of these is too good to be true. Which one is it?
Yeah.
But they both would have been, and I passed on the Red Sox one, but that's okay. It's not that I like to be mean. It's just like I'm thinking about it objectively. Like, it's not who, it's like, it's just the style. I don't gel with that style. And it bites me in the ass. Like, I bet the Pirates under today. Kyle Hendricks' ERA is 10. And it's the most obvious over on the board. And it was the easiest over on the board. The Pirates scored 9 runs.
But just because of the Pirates, yeah. Yeah. And I was on the Orioles run line yesterday, which was 2 days ago. That was tragic.
See, I would have bet the Blue Jays there, but I don't like fading the Orioles. Like that's one thing. I'm a very stubborn bettor. Like I will do it. I don't care if I think it's right. I'll lose the money doing it. But that is one thing that I have gotten very disciplined at, and it's taken me 2 years to do it, is just don't fade them. Like, you really got to be right if you're going to fade them. Like, I typically never fade the Orioles on a true side, right? It's got to be on the run line. Like, I'll fade them plus 1.5. I don't like to just be like Blue Jays money line. I don't like it. They just always come through.
Yeah, that was annoying. I was looking at the under in that game, and I told you it was like one of those games where both teams left a shit ton of guys on base. The under probably shouldn't have hit, but it did. And the Orioles should have covered the 1.5, and they didn't. So it's kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. I was like, no matter which way I went with it, I was kind of screwed. But the under would have hit, so that would have been a good look. But I took the 1.5. The plus sign looked good, and Adley Rutschman hit a 2-run bomb. In the inning before that, Anthony Santander got tagged out at home on a stupid, I don't know why he went home. Yeah. So stupid. Guy on third with no outs, and he just tried to push it on an infield ground ball, and he got hosed. And that would have been the tying run, and then Rutschman's would have been the go-ahead for 2.
And then the thing is, it's like when you mess up on a side, it's a lot easier to justify like why it was a good look. With unders, it's harder to do that. Yeah. Just because it's like, oh, if this guy gets out here, it's like, well, I mean, the score was 12-5 and you had under 8. Like,
yeah,
you're going to make 8 excuses. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And the Orioles were like 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Yeah. Like, how often are they really going to do that? Not often, but the under hit anyways. So it's like, I'm kicking myself for not taking it, but should I have deserved that one? Probably not.
No, and like sometimes it's tough because like I texted you about it like as soon as it was done. I'm like, why didn't you just play a money line? You're like, oh, it's like minus 140, and like that's not the worst.
Super late to it.
Yeah, and that's not the worst strategy to have, but like I try to not do. I call them naked run lines. Like I try to not ever do a home team 1.5. Especially if it's like a big number like that, because like the run line looks very enticing. But it's like there's just like yours is the obvious example, right? Where it's like, oh, they hit a walk-off 2-run home run. You needed a 3-run home run. Like doing the road team 1.5 is much better because they continue to keep playing. Like that's an obvious one. But like, how many times have you seen like, oh, it's tied and they squeak across 1 run in the 8th inning and then they go home after the 9th inning? So that's one thing I've been trying to be a lot smarter with is pairing spreads with a side. Like if I lose 2 units on the game, so be it. If I lose 2.3 units on the game, so be it. Like to me, it's like you getting a split if you're sort of right is much more likely than you just getting one of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Or none of them, I should say.
You got I know you have some teams you want to talk about in the MLB before we switch over to hockey.
Well, I'm gonna do that shit list blog again. I kind of like doing that, and I hope the readers liked it too. All a dozen of you. Maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. But the Cubs pissed me off. I'll get more into it when I write it. But like the Cubs pissed me off. I laddered Justin Steele's strikeouts on Saturday, and I think he had every batter he faced was like 2 strikes. So that was stupid. But yeah, he got shelled. That didn't work. The Cubs have been on my shit list all week. I bet the over twice or once. That didn't hit. I did bet him against the Braves when the ass man was on the mound. But they've been pissing me off. Who else I got written down? The Red Sox. We already talked about that over debacle. That was so stupid. Like, whatever. And then the Reds have been really pissing me off too. I bet the Reds like 3 or 4 times this week and just being dumb baseball players. But that's okay. But I'm going to write more about that.
I had to stop betting them. I have stopped betting them. I bet them a lot early when it seemed like the market was more aligned with what I thought of them. Like a lot of people were really high on them coming into the year. I was pretty high on them coming into the year. I had them right at their win total, so I wasn't like, oh, they're going to run away with the Central. But now the books have adjusted and their lines are a little bit more fair, but that team still just irritates me. Like I just try to stay away. If I like them, unless I really think it's right, I just avoid it. I'm like, it's not worth it. Like,
they're frustrating.
They've been very frustrating. I had one hockey bet this week on my New York Rangers plus 140 last week against the Canes. For some reason, they were dogs in almost every single game of that series. We talked about it before we started. Like the Canes outplayed
they play
them
better every game for most
every single game,
and they lost 4 games.
I'm a very big Rangers fan. I make it known, and I was very happy that they walked away with the series. And last night was no exception. Having Chris Kreider punch in a hat trick all in the 3rd period.
Yeah, natural hat trick. That's cool. They took away
all
best.
3.
That was sad.
He scored all 3 in the 3rd.
Well, 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Okay.
Panarin scored the first one, and then he scored 3 in a row.
Okay.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4, and then some. I can't remember who punched in the empty net, but someone punched in the empty net late.
Barclay Goodrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That series really pissed me off because like I bet on the Canes a lot, but like I bet the Rangers on the overtime win. I was like, I've had enough of that.
Yeah, we were both on that one.
Yeah, but then I stopped betting the Canes because I'm like you can't watch that game. I know you're a Rangers fan, but like you'd agree with me. You can't watch every game of that series and be like, how did the Rangers win? Like game 1, like Carolina kind of got blitzed. Every other game, the Canes were better for at least 40 minutes of the 60 minutes they played. Every game. I would say game 3, maybe not, just because it was an overtime game. But even then, like the Canes kind of.
The Canes dumped shots on net. Igor was awesome all series. Like he's the only reason. Like that really was the reason. Like the one overtime game, the Canes had 52 shots on net, and the Rangers won in overtime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like Igor was 51 of 50. Yeah, Igor was 51 of 53 on shots.
Yeah, no, he was incredible. Like, if the Rangers make it to the Cup, like he could win the Conn Smythe. He's been awesome. I don't know if they're gonna though. Like, I'm assuming Florida's gonna. I like Boston tonight, but I think Florida's gonna wrap it up in 7. But that is going to be an awesome series because like they both kind of play with an edge. Like Florida definitely does. New York kind of just found out how to play with an edge, and it's been effective for them. Like That's going to be an awesome series. And I'm not saying it to take away anything from the Rangers because, like, they're still a really good team. They won the President's Trophy. It's just not even as a better, just watching it as a hockey observer. Like, the Canes were better for 2/3 of the games they played, and they lost. They lost 2 home games despite being better in, 7 of the 9 periods?
Yeah, like way better. Like, it was one of those things where I was like holding my breath. I watched every single game, so I'm watching as a fan, and I'm holding my breath because it might be a 1-1 game, and they're just burying shots on net. I'm like, at some point, the dam's
if
gonna
Igor
break.
doesn't play, they get swept.
Yeah.
Swept.
Yeah, well, I don't think we'll see.
He's been the best player in the NHL these playoffs. It's been him and like Brock Besser and Sergei Bobrovsky. I'm dead serious.
Insane.
Like, if the Rangers win the cup, he's winning the Conn Smythe.
He should, and I'm really happy it's happening at this time because he went through that stretch before the All-Star break
he was
where
really
he was
bad.
really, really bad.
He did the same thing last year too, and then he was awful in that series against the Devils.
Yeah,
but, like, the whole team was.
Yeah. Yeah. But my dad was texting me and Igor looks awful. Let's just run quick out there as much as possible. I'm like, he's gonna come around eventually, and I'd rather him suck in the middle of the year than suck right now.
It's all about timing.
It's
the hot team. It was the same thing with Florida last year.
Yeah. Bob got hot late and just he's impressive.
It's like Vancouver. Vancouver was good all year, so that's kind of a different example. But, like, Vancouver's playing the best hockey they have all season.
Yeah.
And then on the West, it's like I'm riding the Stars. I am banging out that series. Like, I think I've hit every game in that series. Every game except game 1. I bet Dallas game 1. That didn't work.
They went. That was the one they went up 3-0 and lost, right? That was game 1.
Oh yeah, that was stupid. Yeah, that was dumb. I bet on 1-5 and puck line, or 1-5 and the money line. That was dumb. But I got it all back. Like, I've been nailing the sides in that series. I hit Dallas game 3, Dallas game 4, Dallas game 5, Colorado games. No, I got that crossed up. They're playing game 6 tonight. I missed game 1, but hit game 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the sides. The totals, I've been trying to not do the totals. I haven't had a good feel on totals, but despite that Canes Rangers series giving me fits, I am nailing the Stars series. And I have the future too, so there's like no incentive for me to bet it whatsoever. And I'm just adding to it. It's awesome. Hockey is keeping me afloat because I've been pretty poor in the East. Like, the Bruins have been irritating me. But I hit a couple of bets in that series. But, like, the totals, I've been doing more totals in that series, and it hasn't been going so well. But the Stars are literally keeping me afloat. So, big game 6 tonight.
They look tough.
I said it before. Whoever wins this series is going to the Cup.
I agree. I don't think Vancouver, as much as I liked them in the regular season and kind of approaching the playoffs, I don't know. They haven't been overly impressive to me in the playoffs so far. So it's
they're struggling to score as many goals as they need to, despite playing against the worst goalie left.
Yeah.
Stuart Skinner's not good. Well, no, Gorgiev's worse. But the Stars are the best team in the NHL. I said that before the playoffs started. Like, they are the best team in the NHL. They are. And they're showing
really tough. They're so balanced. They're so balanced.
Tough. Every line is deep. You get contributions from Jamie Benn and his line. You get Tyler Sagan's line. You have the fourth line doing things. Like, every line in that team is involved. Ottinger's playing well. They're coached well. Everything about that team is like they should be playing the Rangers in the Cup. Like, truthfully.
Yeah, I can see that.
Anything else?
No. NCAA 25, the trailer dropped. I will be buying a new console specifically for that game. I have been waiting for 10 years for this, and I've been tweeting about it all week because I'm so excited, and pre-orders came out, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, I am too. We're going to have to do like a Twitter poll to see who we have to do our dynasty mode with. Like what team
Should.
with? Yeah, that would be fun.
That's a good one. I know you got to pick a Maction team. It's got to be.
Me? Yeah, I probably
It's
have
got. You got to run one with a Mac team. It's got to be.
Yeah, like Bowling Green or something.
Yeah.
No, I'd probably do the Chip. No, it's Buffalo. No, the Ozone. Ohio. That's it right there. Or NIU.
There's some fun Maction teams.
Yeah.
Excited. Football's coming.
I know. I'm itching for it.
You will be once July hit. As soon as we hit the All-Star break in baseball, it's
yeah, I'm already in football. It's like, is football here yet? I bet better when football's on. I just do.
You got any more? What do you on tonight? What do you got tonight? I know you said you're on Boston
I'm on the
tonight, right?
Bees. I'm on the Bees, and I'm on the Stars. I didn't add any baseball yet. I was on that under this morning or this afternoon, and that fell apart, but that's okay.
Yeah, I've been looking at a couple of spots. I was looking at the Brewers today, but Freddie Peralta versus Hunter Brown in a pick'em scares me because he has not been good. The Astros have been really good of late, so I will say that. Like the line sort of makes sense because they've been better, but it still is like
yeah. To me, that's just not worth doing. It's like Hunter Brown, fucking
bad. I'm just on a college baseball play that I'll be sweating out later tonight, so hopefully that'll cash in. We'll call her a day and get back after tomorrow. And I was looking at the Stars tonight in that game. I haven't bet anything, but was debating that. But that's about it. I'm not on anything yet.
Yeah, same here.
Well, that's our show, folks. That's all we got today. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at Overdue Sports, the website, www.overduesports.com. Like and subscribe. Hit the notifications. We're going to be pumping out a lot of stuff over the summer as we're approaching football season like we've been talking about. Follow along. And we are out of here.